Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, yeah, see the 35th question. Terrorism is emerging as a competitive industry over the last few decades. Analyze the above statement. So, as I was just seeing our group in the evening, I have come across this one of the textbook, shared by Rajni and then subsequently shared by Ramana sir. I've just gone through it. Around 50% of the content I could just skim through. Seems to be a good textbook. Okay. The content also is given in the UPSC format, like side headings, way forward. So, and then important topics are covered. Though it is 370 pages, I think you can cover it in hardly 1 to 2 days. And it is having some content with regard to the disaster management also. It is giving various topics, and the topics are also in the format of UPSC. So if you people, I don't know if you people have observed it or not. So consistently, Ramana sir is sharing good material. Okay, be it material of some of the institutes or material of this sort. The quality is definitely good. I've seen this around 40-50 pages, and then I can definitely say it's a good book. Why good book? Not because it is having some extraordinary content, because the content is presented in UPSC format. How you have to write the answers, like that the content is presented. So it is easy to grasp and then, try to use those points. Fine. See the 35th question. Terrorism is emerging as a competitive industry over the last few decades. Analyze the above statement. What do you understand by the above statement and try to give your point of view about it. What do you mean by competitive industry? Okay. Just try to take a couple of minutes and give the framework. Yeah, definition of terrorism as industry, reasons for competitiveness and way forward. Okay. What do you understand by competitive industry? Competitive industry. Yeah, competitive industry. Okay. Entry and exit freely, no, not required. So basically, just the questions might be tricky or challenging. Always take a step back and just try to understand what is competitive industry. Okay, because this word is related with is now juxtaposed with the terrorism, we are trying to think in a completely different way. But what is a competitive industry? And what will the players in competitive industry do? What is a competitive industry and what will the players in competitive industry do? For example, I'll give you one example. The FMCG, okay, fast moving consumer goods like your shampoos, toothpaste, all these are FMCG is a very competitive industry. Now tell me, what are the characteristics of this particular competitive industry? Leave terrorism aside. Leave terrorism. You tell me, if FMCG I am calling as competitive industry, what are the features of the competitive industry? What do you see in the FMCGs? Demand, innovation, okay, then Head and Shoulder shampoo, multiple players, ambitious market goals, expansion, yes, then advertisements, outdoing each other, outsmarting each other, Okay. Yes, aggressive marketing. Then recruitment, poaching, branding. Yes, that's all. You have the points for the answer now. Now related to the terrorism. Now tell me the answer. You will only tell the answer today. What is the answer for the 35th question? Now relate. You have all given what are the features of competitive industry. Now tell me the competitive industry in context of terrorism. How do you relate these two now? The same things. Don't try to overemphasize or use lot of brain. The same things now you relate it to terrorism. Yeah, one by one you start giving. Innovative methods to spread recruitment. Yes. Innovative methods to spread and recruitment. Yes. Innovation in attacks. Lot of emerging organizations. Limited resources like weapons, oils and drugs. Yes. Using dark web for recruitment. Trying to outsmart each other. Cyber terrorism. Using social media for recruitment. Then yes, deepening presence through radicalization, getting political power. Yes, so all these are the points, and you can say the importance of competitive industry is gaining the market. Here, various terrorist outfits are trying to gain their importance, like the big companies like Al Qaeda, ISIS. All these people are trying to become bigger terrorist outfits. So that you can give the example. So hence you can say in the last few decades, because of the instability in the global order, especially in the Middle East, the terrorism has come out as a competitive industry where various terrorist outfits are trying to outdo each other, outsmart each other and grow into bigger organizations, sometimes as big as controlling the political nature of the countries. Hence the need of the hour. So you can give solutions also. What are the measures to counter this? Again, the standard measures, the development, the coming together of the global organizations and global institutions, cutting the funds, choking the access to weapons, reducing money laundering. So all these are important aspects in cutting down the growth of terrorism, and then you can conclude by what I said, and that is your answer. Is it clear? So whose answer should I do today? Whose answer should I did not do in the last two classes? You can raise your hand. Jitender, you will be there ready. So you don't write what are the characteristics of competitive industry and then trying to match it with okay. You write characteristics of terrorism as competitive industry because the side heading is misleading, Jitender.
Yes, sir, I'll change.
Good. You have mentioned many important points. You have to write what should be done also, some measures to counter this, because in such questions you are expected to write measures. Okay.
Yes, sir, I'll make sure.
Fine. See the 36th question. So this is a very factual question. Ideally, if you remember the sections of ASPA, you can write them, or else you can write the powers. Okay, don't worry, because it's a very tough question and a very factual question. I don't think such questions will be asked in the present context, but there are some sections like section 6, section 4 and all, which are slightly controversial because ASPA gives too much powers to the armed forces. So if you remember those section names, well and good. Okay. So I doubt really if you read even today in the next year mains, or even if you read 1 month before mains, you will remember all the sections. I really doubt. So in such context, don't give wrong sections and lose impression in front of the examiner. If you know the context of that section, you write. There are some controversial points or controversial issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for this, these are the solutions. So what is the question? Human rights activists constantly highlight the view that Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA, is a draconian act leading to the cases of human rights abuses by the security force. Very recently, we have seen in the Nagaland. What sections of ASPA are opposed by the activists? Critically evaluate the requirement with reference to the view held by the apex court. Okay, what sections of ASPA are opposed by the activists? So if you know the sections clearly, write. Or else, even if you write the important points which are opposed by the activists, that is also absolutely fine. Okay, fine. Give me the controversial sections of ASPA. And then requirement, evaluate the requirement with reference to the view held by the apex court. Apex court here is the Supreme Court. Yeah. Yes, Suman. Section 2 is definitely an important section. Section 4, yes, power to open fire. Section 3, extreme discretion to officers on duty with respect to shoot at sight. Yes. Immunity to security forces. Yes. So if you can remember these sections, see, generally section 4 and 6 are very controversial. Remaining are also controversial, but then of course when the entire act is controversial, so sections will be controversial, but 4 and 6 are very controversial because they give immunity and free license to shoot at sight. Basically, if you can remember the section, it is very good. You can write them. Okay, so you can write them. These are the sections opposed. So critically evaluate the requirement with reference to the view held by apex court. What is the view held by the apex court? Yes. What is the view held by the Supreme Court? So critically evaluate. You should give the reasons for continuing it, and you should give the reasons for discontinuing this. What is the view held by the Supreme Court in the, is it in favor of AFPA or not in the favor of AFPA? Supreme Court upheld the AFPA. Yes. Okay. So Supreme Court has its own judgment with regard to ASPA because they felt that the disturbed areas in these northeast regions are affected by insurgency and militancy. So ASPA has to be continued. So till date, Supreme Court has not given any favorable judgment for discontinuing the ASPA. Okay. Fine. Now tell me. Okay, very good that you yourselves have given the first part of the answer, which are the controversial provisions of the ASPA. So some of the controversial provisions are the license to the army officers to open fire or even cause death. Okay. And then they can stop any vehicle just like that and ask them to show certain documents. And if they do not show, they can be arrested. And the army officers have the immunity. That means no case can be filed against them in the court of law when they are implementing certain aspects of ASPA. So, and then the disturbed areas are declared by the state and central governments. So what constitutes a disturbed area is not clear. And then they have to be presented in the court of law within the reasonable time. Someone who's arrested should be presented in the court of law within reasonable time. That reasonable time is not defined, and then more often than not, the delay, they are detained and then they are tortured, and if there are many sexual abuses also happening. So a very sad story with regard to ASPA. So all these are the controversial provisions. Now critically evaluate. So first half answer is answered. Now critically evaluate what is the need for ASPA, why there is no need for ASPA. Tell me. Need for ASPA. So what is the need for ASPA? So basically these special powers are needed to avoid delay in decision making. Yes, good. And to address the issue of insurgency, violence, cultural and ethnic fights, to maintain law and order, so on. So these are the important reasons for continuing the AFSPA. Then what are the reasons for not having AFSPA? What are the reasons for not having AFSPA? What are the reasons for not having AFSPA? Violation of human rights. Very good. There are allegations of violation of human rights by the armed forces. Absolute power can be really dangerous. And some of these areas have already become peaceful. Why again to continue AFSPA? Too much power in the hands of armed forces. And then you can give the example of recent Nagaland issue. The government has officially apologized, right? So all these are the reasons for not having AFSPA. Then in the conclusion, see here in this question, you can take any stand. If you want AFSPA to go, take a stand that it should go and then substantiate. If you want AFSPA to continue, take a stand that it should continue and you can substantiate. AFSPA is a very popular interview topic. Many people are asked regarding the continuation and discontinuation of AFSPA, because in your interview, your judgment is tested, not yes boss. So many people think AFSPA is a government thing, and if we oppose, UPSC will get offended and they say yes, it should be included, it should be there, it should continue. And then they just counter, what about the sexual violations, what about the human right abuse? Then they said, yes, then we have to remove. So you are trying to change the stand based on the inputs from the interviewer. So you should have a clear-cut stand on these kind of issues. In mains, you can say that it's the need of the hour, considering that we are trying to integrate Northeast into the mainstream Indian society and India, and we are trying to see Northeast as a gateway to Southeast Asia. And since many of the AFSPA areas are already in peace, the need of the hour is to slowly but surely remove the disturbed areas under the AFSPA and to empower the locals through development, local panchayats, through PISA, etc. and so on. Then your conclusion will sound very matured, that you are not only supporting removal of AFSPA, but also encouraging locals to develop themselves, because we want Northeast to become a bridge to Southeast Asia. By having that under military control, you cannot have a kind of bridge. We are seeing that in Kashmir. Okay, so you can say that and then conclude. Someone has any better conclusion? Or is the conclusion given by me fine? Is the conclusion given fine? So that is a very balanced approach, Jitendra. You can write that. See, in mains, you can always take a balanced path and try to give a conclusion. But interview, you cannot escape.
Yes, sir.
In mains, you can say, yes, we can have AFSPA, have checks and balances, have a middle path, so on and so forth. In front of the UPSC chairman, when you are in the board, if you say, yes, sir, we'll have a medium path, middle path, They'll simply say, Jitendra, take a stand, boss. Then what stand will you take? They'll still say, sir, we'll have ASPA to more controls, more technology innovations. Armed forces should be regulated. People should be empowered. So if you speak, first of all, you will not have so much time to speak. Body cams. What is that, Suman? Why body cams? Body cams on whom? Armed forces or people who are affected by armed forces?
Sir, it is for the officers on duty, sir.
They'll simply
Usually
switch
these,
off, yeah.
sir.
They'll switch off.
Uh, then they should be
I'm
held
asking
accountable
you,
if.
this will be the interview. You give solution. Sir, I'll have body cams, CCTV cameras. I'll say they'll switch off what to do. So you think the officer will be switching on the camera and then shooting someone?
Sir, I think it depends on the training and mindset with which the officers are with. The authorities should ensure that proper training should be given.
Then if you
so
are
that,
speaking about proper training, why I should have cameras? So you are not trusting my training?
Sir, it's not about the trust on the training, sir. It is about the legacy issue because this even though officers with best of the aptitude and best of the training were recruited, there were severe allegations. So to avoid any mistake on the side of forces, in case of any action taken against the insurgent groups, this remains as an evidence, at least to the interrogative authorities like human rights, like NHRC or any other interrogative body deployed for the necessary cause.
Okay, so where the authorities or the officers are right, the camera evidence is there. What if they are wrong? What if the allegations of the people against the officers are true and then there is no camera evidence? How is that? How do you justify that?
Sir, I think because there will be multiple officers on ground, and I don't think it is difficult to capture any evidence outside, sir.
Suman, you are talking about a terrain where officers operate in a very remote area. So you will not have 100 officers going on a single operation. You will hardly have 3 or 4 officers going on some visit or check or patrol. So technology innovation is definitely one of the solution. Okay. So, okay, you can have body cams, but then the effectiveness of body cams can be questioned here. It's not about our soldiers being attacked by outsiders and we have to record it. The allegation is that our soldiers are committing human rights violations on our own citizens in the name of Armed Forces Special Power Act. This is the biggest thing and the biggest noise which is coming out of this act. So basically we have to bring up the trust building measures, okay, bring about and ultimately you cannot continue AFSPA on our own citizens in the name of, so you have to counter the insurgency at some point of time. You don't want to do anything with regard to insurgency, but then punish our citizens because of insurgent groups is not right. So the solution is that you fight the insurgency, trust the citizens, empower them, ask them to develop on their own by giving more and more local representation. And when you have to trust the citizens at some point of time, that is the entire mystery about AFSPA. You want Northeast to become the gateway of Southeast Asia. We are saying Act East, and then Northeast, some sections of land or some sections of the state, we are not ready to touch them. Okay, some of them might be having links with the insurgent groups. or the cultural ethnic groups, no doubt about it. But why are you punishing the remaining people? Okay, maybe see, this is a very subjective issue. Everyone can have their own stand. So to continue AFSPA or not, there is always a debate which is going on, and hence the government also, among so many debates, it is obviously happy to continue AFSPA. But my personal take has always been that slowly but surely we have to withdraw AFSPA. That is what even government is doing. Let's be honest. Government has decreased the number of ASPA areas. It is doing that. So we have to be more proactive where the situation is already under control. No need to have AFSPA is my opinion. You here everyone can have their opinion, and then only thing is you have to substantiate your opinion. Okay, good, Jitendra. Okay, your final point is taken. Finally, you have taken a stand. Good,
Yes, sir.
fine. Whose answer should I take up here? Anyone who has written this today can raise their hand. No one has written. Rajni. Rajni, we have done your answer yesterday, right? So anyone whose answer was not done yesterday and written this answer. Anyone else apart from Rajni who has written this answer? All have written the answers today. Venkateshwari, Raghuram, Jitendra, Vasavi, Soumya. So no one has written. Aravind, Rajani, Sriram. Sriram, you have done your answer also yesterday.
Yes, sir. Yesterday.
Okay, then since Rajni asked, we'll do Rajni's. Yeah, 1958 it was incorporated. Jerome Sharmila protested, yes. This all is not required actually. Jerome Sharmila protested and all, you can remove that, ma. Okay. It's just too much. You give basic introduction, your first paragraph is good. Okay, you are mentioning sections, good. Okay, your conclusion is a typical mains like conclusion, a balanced conclusion. Okay, and here in between you have to mention the pros and cons of continuing the AFSPA. Okay, because they are saying critically evaluate, you have to give both the sides of the argument. Okay. See the last question. Indian government has recently strengthened the anti-terrorism laws by amending the UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 and NIA Act. Analyze the changes in the context of prevailing security environment while discussing the scope and reasons for opposing the UAPA by human rights organizations. Again, a very factual question and a question which was very much current affairs oriented in that year because UAPA was very much in news. Okay, so yeah, give me the inputs for this question. How do you attempt this question? Analyze the changes in the context of prevailing security environment while discussing the scope and reasons. So first define what are the changes in UAPA and NIA Act in a brief way, and then discuss the scope and reasons for why opposing the UAPA by human rights organizations, then give the measures and way forward. That is the How? That is how this answer has to be written. So tell me, what do you write here? Yeah, list out the important points. Yeah, individual designation as terrorist is one of the changes in UAPA. Okay, agreed. First, give me changes in UAPA and then changes in NIA Act. First, give me the changes. Who wants to answer this? Yeah. Increase the scope of National Investigation Agency in human trafficking, counterfeit currency, prohibited arms dealing, cyber terrorism. Okay, and then first, okay, let's not mix thing. First, tell me about UAPA. Yeah, Sriram, tell me the amendments in UAPA and NIA. Unmute yourself and speak. Sriram, you're there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what are the changes in first UAPA Act and then the NIA Act?
The changes in UAP are individuals also can be designated as terrorists
Yes.
apart from organizations. And also power to seize property without permission from DGPs of states. The
Yes.
next, and also the designation of investigation officers from the level of inspector itself. Before it used to be DSP and above.
DSP and
Now it
above,
is-
now it has become inspector itself. Yes, good.
And also inclusion of International Convention for Suppression of Acts of Nuclear Terrorism into the Act.
Nuclear terrorism acts also are included in the UAPA Act. Yes.
Yeah, sir. And in terms of NIA amendment, it included more crimes in the list of NIA's jurisdictions.
Yes, more crimes are included. The jurisdiction of NIA has been expanded abnormally.
Widened, sir. Yeah, sir.
And
Widened
beyond India
abnormally.
also, NIA has now its jurisdiction, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. And also constitution of special courts if needed.
Special forces.
That's
Yes.
it, sir. Special courts, sir. Special courts for adjudication
Yes.
if needed.
So these are the important changes in the UAPA and NIA Act. Okay. Special courts also are permitted if required. So that those are the things. Now analyze the changes in the context of prevailing security environment while discussing the scope and reasons for opposing this. So first give the side heading. The requirement of what is the need for amending these particular acts. Now tell me what is the need for amending these acts. Someone. First, the side heading is the need for amending the acts. Yes, please. Sumant, what are the need for the amendment in these acts? First is the side heading that why there is a need to amend these acts, and then reasons for opposing this by human organization, and then the conclusion.
Yes, sir. Needs are first one. Terrorism has become a competitive industry.
Yes, you can use the first question here. Very good. Terrorism has become a competitive industry. Increase in
And-
terrorist activities.
Yes, sir. And multidimensional challenges of terrorism.
Good. Multidimensional
multidimensional-
challenges of terrorism, uncertainty, and the way the terrorism is operating. Yes. And
sir.
fedain attacks. Why individuals are being marked as terrorists instead of organization? Because is increase in the fedain attacks. That was the Home Minister. That's what Home Minister told. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Increase in fedain attacks or lone wolf attacks, as they are popularly called.
Yes, sir.
And then increase in
And,
the money laundering, drug trafficking, and other illegal activities through terrorist channels.
Yes, sir.
Increase in the recruitment through dark web. So all these are posing a really serious challenge to the law and order and internal security of the nation. Hence, and hence the cyber terrorism, where it is being done from remote servers across the world, and hence the scope of the NIA has also been increased. So the growing complexity in the terrorist activities is one of the reasons the government has justified for increasing or amending this particular UAPA and NIA. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, reasons for opposing by human rights. Now give the reasons. Next heading is the reasons for opposing the UAPA by human rights. So what are the reasons they are giving?
Using this as a tool for settling political scores and political vendetta.
Basically, it may be used as a political tool to suppress any dissent against the government. Number one. Number two, when you are arresting an individual in the name of terrorist, it is a very serious challenge for him or her to come out and prove himself innocent. It is against the human right and also the constitutional right to equality. And there is no clear definition for what constitutes a terrorist attack. Yes, good. Then what else? What are the other objections by the human rights? By abnormally increasing the scope of NIA, the center is trying to usurp the federal role, because the state police role with regard to NIA is a very big challenge. So state police is the one who is responsible for law and order. The jurisdiction of NIA has become so much that they can usurp the role of state police, and the sanctity of state police itself is questioned. Okay. So all these are the opposition. So what are the measures or way forward? Way forward we can write. Way forward can be a typical way forward where you can write that the amendments should be seen in the light of growing complexity of these terrorist activities. However, the interests of individuals and their human rights have to be protected, and there should be balance of human rights also along with the state interest, state's security interests. The need of the hour is to look into the genuine concerns with regard to this act, and if required, amend them according to the popular demand. That's all. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Who has written this answer? Anyone who has written this answer? Yeah, focus more on UPA with regard to the opposition, and write one or two examples of NIA also, not an issue. What, no one has written this answer or what? Who has written today? Sriram Rajni. Sriram, did you write? Soumya. Soumya did not write. Huh? Soumya, you written, na? Why no one is answering when I am asking? No one has written. Navya. Navya also has written. Presentation should increase, Navya. Presentation should be very more. You are writing too many lines, congested. You see, it's very difficult for someone to actually read. So much content you have given. So slide spacing you have to give. Okay, you've written. Yes, provisions you have written. Good. So you have written all the points, but only thing is, since you are finding really difficult to adjust to the space and write them, maybe you can use certain diagrams. Okay, so that your content also is not lost and your essence also is maintained in the answer, because now it is looking very crammed up. I can understand you have seen, when I'm reading the points, I have seen that you have made all the points related to the answer, but then it has become very crammed up. Okay, and then never cross this particular line. For everyone, I am telling you, if someone consistently crosses this right hand margin, there will be penal marks, and some few of them have even got penal marks. You have tried to bring so much content to this answer. While all the points are relevant, you need to filter out few of them. If you see, you have written almost 300-400 words. Again, that is also one drawback. You should never write 10% of the demand of the answer is the upper cutoff, 10 to 15% on the lower side, and 10% on the upper side. So if the question is for 150 words, you should answer anywhere between 130 to 170 words, not beyond that. If it is 250 words, 220 to 270, 280 words, that's all. If you go above that, you will be penalized. Okay, good point, Soumya. You have to write the need for these amendments also. You have missed that part. You write need for the amendments. Yes, curtailing the right to life, police officers of state. Okay, fine, good. Also include certain points which we discussed. Okay. So any doubts with regard to today's session? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So I think with this we are finishing the security, right?
Yes, sir.
Internal security, one of the important topics and the most sought out topics in UPSC have done. Okay, so we have done all the previous questions, and it's a very good thing that you people have written. Most of you have written consistently, and I keep saying that just keep writing. Okay, I don't want to repeat the same exercise or same story again and again. You're doing good. Keep that going. Keep the feedback, whatever feedback I'm giving to you in the class, try to implement them. And as I told you in the last class, you have that 4 or 5 stages of going to the best phase of answer writing. So just evaluate as to which phase you are in there. And now slowly start incorporating the examples. The examples are also something which are really important and which are appreciated by UPSC. So whenever you are making points, try to bring examples. Examples pertaining to the current affairs. Okay. And then try to do new ways of answer writing. And Yeah, just try to implement them. Just try new things. Just try to bring the better content to your answer. Read the material, and that's all. So that is my feedback to you.